transportation fee, whatever it would be, he would get. They didn't have like a crew like Scotty and I, where Channel 12's paying for the gas, right? So to get around, you got money back, or you got money for the cab. And if you didn't take the cab and you walked, you could pocket the money, and that was your call. You'd have to go a little earlier. You'd have to spend some of your own personal time to do the walk, but if it was worth the money, you would do it. And Grandpa did that. He also stayed in shape that way. It was a double thing with him, right? So that decision saved his life, because while he was walking, he saw the snowstorm. It was raging with snow, and he saw what was going on all around. So he goes in now as the drama critic to this theater for the performance that he has to now to write about, and he's thinking about the snow, right? Okay, so he also did one more thing that saved his life. For his whole career as the drama critic, he would sit in the three sections: the cheap seats, the expensive seats, and the regular seats, so that he had a sense, does the show play for everybody? Is it democracy, in other words? So he had all that going on, and that helped him too, because as he was going from seat A to B, he's looking around because he remembers what he saw coming in, and he knows. Oh, and it's opening night for this theater. They're all that about the theater, because they're all hot and bothered about getting good coverage for the opening night. Wouldn't you know, just as if in Rhode Island, it turns out the builders cut corners. I'm jumping ahead. You already know what's coming. Under the weight of snow, the roof collapses, but my grandfather, having seen it from seat 1 to seat 2, bolted. And he got out, he says, within 60 seconds of his life. Because he just saw something funny, had remembered some corruption stories about the builders, not unlike Rhode Island again. Remember, this is Washington, D.C. It's the flip side of the same coin. That's why I did well here, because I grew up in a town that's just utterly corrupt.
You were already used to it.
So I was used to it. I came in understanding that's how things work. That's just the way it is. Now, anyone who thinks it isn't hadn't looked hard enough. That's my view. But be all of that as it may, just the fact, all those facts. And he bolts, so now he goes over to a payphone, and he dictates into the Washington Post the story of his life, right? Biggest story of his whole long career. Now other people who are survivors of the disaster are coming out trying to get the payphone, and he said, no, I'm the Washington Post. I need help. We need a rescue. You're getting a rescue. I'm telling the Washington Post, all the people at the Washington Post are going to send the rescue. I'm not giving up this phone. I got to dictate the story. And here's what he did. Having just survived his own death, listen to this lead. And I've got it memorized. I've got 3 sections of it memorized for right now. With a roar, comma, mighty as the crack of doom, comma, the roof of the Knickerbocker Theater collapsed last night, comma, killing 98 people, period. That's one hell of a lead. Deeper into the piece, he's explaining what I just have already explained, that the snow, the weight of the snow, took the roof hits the upper deck, and then that hits the lower deck. He explains all that, new paragraph. There thus were 2 layers of death, comma, as if in a cake. At a place that makes cakes. Off the top of his head, he's just survived his own death. And that came out of his head? Are you kidding me?
Wow.
And later in the piece, my favorite line, I'll try to get through it. At one point, in sorrow too deep for childhood to understand, comma, a young lad of about 9 identified his mother and his father as among the dead. And just imagine writing a sentence like that at a payphone, and people are screaming at you to get the payphone. That fight didn't end with what I just said when he explained, oh, well, I'm the blah. They didn't care who you were. They wanted him off that phone. So that never stopped. The whole way through as he's dictating this epic story.
Wow.
Unimaginable, because my nightclub story does not include the level of involvement that my grandfather's story does. I come in late. I get a call at about 3 a.m. Les Bro and I get to the station. Stevie's calling. Get to the station. You're going with Les Bro. Meet Les. We hook up. Whatever. However, so Les and I hook up at Catamore, and we go down. And now we're all aftermath. That's all aftermath. Everything. My whole nightclub thing is aftermath and government failure on inspections and all that stuff. But that's completely different from being in there. He was there. So when he wrote it, every story he wrote, so he owned that story. And that propelled his career to a certain degree. I don't know all the details, but I think it helped him with some salary stuff.
Wow.
Because, and then he never did write a book about it. He could have, but he didn't. He did write this, however, and this will be the pièce de résistance, and then I'm taking off. But he was a gifted guy. He was a songwriter. He was a reporter. He wrote a couple of books, like history books about our local parish. We're deep Roman Catholics. The history of the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament is the name of the church we all went to. And he wrote its history in 1960, which is actually, and he was born in 1888. 60. He's 72 years old and he's still writing books. I mean, that's crazy. The guy died at 88. He had a good long life. And among the things he wrote was this for the kids. And he played the piano too. He was a musician. So he's at the piano and we're all gathered around. 21 grandchildren on dad's side. That's this side that I'm talking about. And on mom's side, we had 35 grandchildren. So it's a big
wow.
family. Each of them, as I say, was one of 7. And then they produced 8. I'm one of 8. I'm the third of 8. I'm the oldest son. I've got 3 younger brothers, and then 4 sisters. I'm sandwiched in between. I've got 2 above and 2 below.
Yeah,
and I was praying when Mom was pregnant with what turned out to be twin brothers. If one of those wasn't a boy, I was running away. I'm on the record, and that, of course, luckily, the delivery of twin brothers saved me from fulfilling that threat. God, I would have. But so Grandpa wrote this. All of the children at our house go to the end of the town, play in the park until way after dark, riding on the merry-go-round. Oh, they ride and they ride all around. The horses go up and go down. Looks like they're going to town, but they never go any place that you know but around on the merry-go-round. The music goes Rudy toot toot, a drum and a fife and a flute. Rudy toot toot sounds mighty cute like the swish of an old rubber boot. Oh, they ride and they ride all around. Wave to the folks on the ground. Stay as long as they can with the merry old man, riding on the merry-go-round.
Nice.